how to decide whether or not success is right for you. How to decide whether or not success is right for you. That is what we're going to talk about today. But first, please send me your validation so that I can inhale it into my nostrils and down to the depths of my soul. Send said validation by subscribing to the YouTube channel. Hit the little notification bell. That notification bell is very important because it allows you to get brand new videos the moment they come out. All other platforms, please like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. Let them know. Help them make the decision about whether or not success is right for them. I wrote an article recently, and the title of the article was Maybe Success Isn't For You. And in that article, I talked about the fact that you don't have to listen to self-improvement gurus. You don't have to chase your dreams. You don't have to have crazy experiences, travel the world, start a business. Like, you don't have to do these things. For some people, it might actually be a much better decision to just remain content. It might be a better decision to just give up. It might be a better decision to just let go of this notion altogether. That way, at least you can live your life the way that it is without having to have all of that anxiety wishing that it could be better. You know, it's that sitting on the fence that causes you so much anxiety. You know, if you were on one side of the fence where you're like, screw it, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go through some of the emotional turmoil and challenge and obstacle and everything I know that comes with being successful. I'm just going to do that. Or you could be like some people who just decide that they're going to do what they want to do and they're just going to leave it at that. You know, I bet there's people, you know, kind of in small towns across America who, you know, some of the people just, they resign themselves to their situation and they're like, you know what? I'm not going to leave this small town. I'm going to keep working my job. There's a local pub. I can get beers on Fridays and Saturdays and like, I'm going to be good. There is something to say about choosing that option. You don't have to do any of this. This comes down to whether or not you personally feel kind of that desperate need to be successful. Are you really serious about it? That's a question you have to ask for yourself. And, you know, it's tough. You know, I get messages from people all the time, people commenting on my posts, and they'll say things like, Ayo, you're always talking about this success nonsense, and some of us just want to be happy. Some of us just want to be content. And I'm like, okay. Nobody put a gun to your head and said you had to read my articles. And what they're telling me by taking time out of their day to comment on a random internet blogger's blog post is that they don't really feel content. If they were content, they would just go about their day. They wouldn't worry about what I'm doing, right? So people who are on the fence, who deep down they know they could be doing more with their life, when they hear messages and see messages like the ones I have to offer, it triggers them. It reminds them of the life that they could be living. I think that's the real message they're trying to communicate. They're like, Ayo, leave me alone. I want to be left to my own devices and forget that there is more out there. I don't want to think about the fact that I'm living below my potential. I don't want to think about the fact that I don't have control over my time. I don't have control over my income. I don't have control over my situation. I don't have control over who I'm able to spend time with, right? So you got to ask yourself, is success for you? You know, decide whether or not you're going to be comfortable living a normal lifestyle. One of the things that drove me to work on my writing for 5 years, that drove me to keep going when I felt like quitting, is that I just knew that I couldn't live a normal life. The idea of going to a 9 to 5 every day, not having control over my time, having to ask someone what to do, having to ask to go have fun, PTO, like these things terrified me. The idea of spending a third of my life working at a job that I did not absolutely enjoy or love terrified me. Does it terrify you, or does it just bug you a little bit? That's how you come to the decision that living a successful life is the right thing for you. It can't just bother you a little bit, because if your situation only bothers you a little bit, you're just gonna hum along. What do we always talk about on this channel? It's not the individual instances of your life that are going to be terrible in and of themselves, but the accumulation, the cumulative aspect of having all of those days clumped together that turn into years of your life where you look up and you're like, wow, what am I doing? What did I do? That's what's going to end up biting you in the butt in the end. So you got to make a decision. That's all this stuff comes down to. Everything in your life is a matter of the choices you make. Yeah, there's circumstances that get in your way. I acknowledge that. Yeah, you don't have complete control over every variable in your life, but you have a ton of control over the decisions that you make. You have control over whether or not you spend your spare time goofing around or working on something that matters to you. It's your choice whether or not you will eat the protein and vegetables or the cake, cookies, and fast food. That is your choice. It is your choice whether or not you are going to stick in a career you don't love, stick in a career you're just tolerating, or choose to make a new path for yourself. This is not going to be like, this channel in general, this is not going to be one of those channels where I sugarcoat the advice, where I make you feel good, like, oh, just believe it and you can achieve it. No. Becoming successful is abnormal. It's not normal to break outside of the shackles of the system. It's not normal at all. It's going to require an abnormal level of effort, an abnormal level of discipline, and an abnormal level of emotional regulation. And that's pretty much the number one thing you need to work on, is that last one, emotional regulation. The ability to persist throughout the up and downs of your career, the ups and downs of building the thing that you want to build. When, like the first 3.5 years almost of my writing career, I did not make any form of money that was indicative of me being able to quit my job. I started with 0 fans. I have millions now. I have millions of readers on my work now, but I started with literally 0. I have about 20,000 people on my email list. I started with 0. I've written, I don't even know how many blogs posted by now, maybe 100. Maybe 500 to 1,000, I meant. I started with 0. And it wasn't as if I made this ultimate decision right away. I dabbled a little bit, like I tell you guys to do. Start with a 90-day goal, a project that you can work on. When I first started writing, I didn't really see further into the foreseeable future. It was kind of like after about 90 days or so, I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Like, I really like writing. And it wasn't even at the 90-day point where I had fully committed to making this a full-time career, but in the back of my mind, I kind of knew. And I never quit. I never really paused at all. And about a year in, I was like, oh yeah. It's like, yeah, this is happening. Come hell or high water, this is happening. And I'm telling you, I did not know how it was going to happen. I primarily make an income from a website called medium.com. I didn't know about Medium when I got started. I just knew that I wanted to be a successful writer. I didn't know how many books I was going to sell or what kind of coaching packages I could offer or anything in terms of how I was going to pull all of this off. But I was just, I just came to a point where I was like, yeah, I'm not going back. And that's kind of the beauty of finding something that is really aligned with your strengths, which is why I talk about that. And actually, if you look in the description below, you'll get a free chapter of my book, which goes through the details of finding your exact natural talents and strengths. So check out that link below in the description. But yeah, after you find something that's a pretty good fit, that it kind of speaks to your soul and it's aligned with who you are, then you can just settle in. And you'll go through the obstacles and the challenges that it takes to become successful. It's not even controversial for me to say this. If you just look around, the odds are clearly against you. Clearly against you. Only, I don't know what the number is, 5-10% of people even get to that kind of B+ lifestyle where they're really doing most of the things they want to do. In my case, I'm not an A+. Like, I can't go on vacation constantly 365 days a year. I don't have that kind of leeway with my life, but, it's like a B+. I wake up and I more or less get to do what I want from start to finish. And the good thing, it doesn't require an insane amount of money. I'm not wealthy. Like, you see my apartment. I don't live in a mansion. There's no Lamborghinis outside. but I just did the work to build enough income to put a roof over my head and to be able to have some fun experiences, right? So you got to be willing to put in the work. You have to pay the price up front. Are you willing to pay the price? Like, you're going to have to let go of things that you like to do. Everyone talks about, oh yeah, love to grind, love to hustle. Like, no, it's not always fun. You know how many times I wished, how many times I would have loved to go out to the bar, have drinks, hang out with my friends, chase girls. That stuff is fun. It's a lot of fun. Trust me, I did quite a bit of it in college. It's a lot of fun. But at a certain age, I was like, you know what? I have to do something. I can't keep living this way. And so during that 5-year time frame where I was doing the work, other people were passing me up in numerous ways. They were out having fun with their friends. They were taking trips when I was broke or saving my money trying to get business stuff off the ground. They were getting good jobs with decent entry-level salaries, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80K. I was behind them trying to work on building that exponential growth that I always talk about on this channel. Things will start out slow, and then eventually you'll get some traction until it explodes. So I made the decision that I was just going to sacrifice a part of my life so that I could have the rest of it. That's what it really comes down to. If you can sacrifice a part of your life, then you get to have the rest of your life. I always talk about the time frames, 90 days, 6 months to a year, and then 5 years. 5 years is kind of that benchmark to totally overhaul your life, and it's not that long of a time. And then, from what I've heard, years 5 to 10 are where you can build real wealth and become truly financially not just flexible but free. There's a book called The Millionaire Fast Lane by MJ DeMarco, and he talks about the fast lane being a decade. And when you compare a decade to an entire life, it's not that long. It's not that much time. And, I'm halfway through that point, and while I'm still allowing myself to enjoy things a little bit, have more fun, I'm doubling down again. That's another psychological aspect that you'll have to deal with. You're going to get a little bit of success, and then you're going to want to rest on your laurels. But instead, you have to double down and put your money, time, and effort in the new projects and scale yourself more and work more and put yourself back through the stress again. Like, you have more freedom, but then you also have stress in that you have to maintain it. You have to stay on your toes and you're a little paranoid. Like, that's what's in store for you. Either way, there's no magical fairy tale ending on either route. Chasing success or building a project that means something to you, it feels good, it's meaningful, it's rewarding, but it's not all sunshine and roses. And then staying, content with what you have, working 40 hours a week, every single week, for every week of your life, for every year of your adult life, until you can finally save up that Social Security money and that pension and that retirement fund. And then when you're 70 years old, you can move to Arizona and play some golf. You can finally start living your life when you're old and you have no energy to do anything about it. Again, I'm not knocking that choice. I really think it's a good choice for a lot of people. But my tone of disdain for it, it just shows that how personally that kind of lifestyle creates like a viscerally negative reaction. And you almost have to have that kind of viscerally negative reaction in order to be successful. I have another video that I'm working on, footage I shot in Miami, that'll be out probably in a week or so because it's going to take time to edit. Got some aerial drone footage in there, real cool stuff. But I made a video about signs that you're going to make more money in life. And one of the signs is you have to genuinely hate being broke. And by broke, I mean middle class. Middle class people are broke, paycheck to paycheck. You have to hate being that way because that level of lifestyle is kind of intoxicating and pleasurable enough for you to stay in that position. It's intoxicating and pleasurable enough for you not to do anything about it. And that's the trap most people find themselves in. It's not that their lives are terrible, they just live in limbo. They live in this middle class, low level anxiety, kind of Groundhog Day limbo, and really the best way to figure out how to successfully navigate that type of lifestyle probably would be just to accept it. I know some people, they work in corporate. They don't mind not having their freedom. They're okay. They're cool with barbecues on the weekend with Mary and Jim and going on a cruise once or twice a year and, asking their boss for PTO, and, having to still look at the prices on items at the restaurant. Like, they're okay with that. And you're not going to get out of that situation unless being in that situation eats at you. You're going to need to draw energy from somewhere, because it's not so much that it's inherently difficult to pull off this whole side project, whatever you want to call it, the path, the self-improvement path we all talk about. It's not hard. It just takes a long time, and you're not going to get the results you want right away. And it's no fun. It's not fun to not get the results right away. You're used to being properly compensated for your efforts. You're used to, you work an hour, you get your money. But when it comes to entrepreneurship or being a creator, it's like you work thousands of hours without getting a dime, and then years later, you get thousands of dollars for an hour. So it comes full circle, right? So you got to be willing to make that sacrifice. To ask yourself, is success for you? Maybe success is not the right thing for you. Maybe you should not watch YouTube videos. Maybe you should just let it go. There's a lot of self-improvement gurus out there who, they want everyone to buy their book. They want everyone to be their client. They want everyone to sign up for their coaching programs. They want to fix everyone's life. I don't want that. Honestly, I've come to the realization that my best odds are probably trying to cherry pick other people like me in the population. People who, you don't necessarily have to have your life figured out, because I certainly did. I was a loser and I was a bum for years. But the people I'm looking for are the people where being in that situation really does eat at them. Like, the long-term consequences are eating at them. It's going to be a lot easier to go from that kind of good base level attitude and take that to great, to where most people, like, they're just too complacent in their situations. Like, they're way too comfortable living that life of quiet desperation. And there's just a lot of people are too comfortable to save. That's why, I appreciate my older demographic, and I do think that there is room for people in that demographic to be successful, but the odds are much lower. I've noticed in my kind of YouTube analytics, it shows that my primary target audience is people ages 25 to 35. And it is kind of in that time frame where most people either snap out of it or don't. So odds are, if you don't snap out of it by 35, you're probably locked in pretty hard. And I don't mean that to discourage people who are above that age. You have Colonel Sanders, who started his business at 60. I believe Vera Wang started her wedding dress company at 40. Samuel Jackson started at 45. So you can do it. But if you're in that cohort I'm talking about, 25 to 35, like, now is the time. And if you're wise enough to start making decisions earlier than that, then you'll be a rock star. Like, if you take your life seriously before the age of 25, if you're like fresh out of high school and you have the maturity to take your life seriously, if you're in college right now and you have the maturity to take your life seriously and really start working on those side projects and hustles now, oh, you're golden. You'll be miles ahead of everyone. So decide. I will be here. I will be here continuously shooting videos, because I know how difficult it is to bring yourself to that situation. But here's what I want you to think about throughout your day-to-day existence. Let that feeling of low-level anxiety fester. Let it build. Let it grow. Each day where you have to do something you don't like, use that so that the next day you're able to work on your side project. Each day where you have to laugh at your boss's dumb joke, or you have a client that's pissing you off, or you work in retail or food service and the customers are annoying you, and you're in traffic stuck having to commute to work and it's annoying you, don't brush that feeling off. Let that bubble up fully to the surface until you finally decide to do something about it. Is success the right thing for you? It's not like chasing success makes you whole. It definitely doesn't. It definitely doesn't. I'm not the one to tell you that if you were to go through this, that you're going to feel perfect bliss and contentment. No. But it's a hell of a lot better. Objectively, a hell of a lot better. I have time and freedom to deal with my emotions. I have time and freedom to contemplate the nuances of my life. I have time and freedom to be able to be deeply meditative and reflective on what is going on in my current circumstances. Because I have resources, because I built something that allows me to continue to gain energy as I go along instead of losing it. I have the luxury of being able to think of my life because I got some of those, I went up the, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, so to speak, and now I can focus on self-actualization, right? So get yourself to the point where you can focus on that. But for now, you gotta do the fucking work. Okay! Real Help is the name of my book. Buy the book. The book is the price of 2 Chipotle burritos. Do you care about your life as much as 2 Chipotle burritos? Scroll down and buy that book right now because it is an amazing book. Scroll down and check out the other links below. You can get a free checklist if you sign up to my email list. You can see all the social media platforms that I reside on where I sometimes show behind the scenes content showing you the way I work, particularly Instagram. Follow that. Hit the notification bell so you can get brand new videos. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment, leave your 2 cents. Let me know that you love me so that I can love you back in kind. I will see you on the next video.